Well, we are slap bang in the middle of our Vote 2025 local election coverage and, of course, the by-election that happened overnight. The Lib Dem leader, Ed Davey, is in Shropshire ahead of election results being announced there. He says that despite gains made by reform, he's found voters he's spoken to don't agree with Nigel Farage's politics. Let's have a listen.
Reform have hit the Conservatives particularly hard, and there's a clear fight on that side of British politics. But I think the more people hear about what Nigel Farage stands for, the more they won't like it. Certainly that's what I found on the doorstep. People don't like the fact that he wants to privatise the NHS. They don't like the fact that he thinks Vladimir Putin is the world leader he most admires. And then when you come to President Trump, wasn't it interesting in the election he didn't talk about Donald Trump or Elon Musk. Now the polls have closed, he's saying he wants their policies in every local town. Well, that's not really how you should do politics, and I think he'll get found out.
Well, we can chat again to Ed and to Tamara. Tamara, just off the back of that Ed Davey grab, I've got a theory I want to kind of run past you. It feels to me that the Lib Dems are the one party who might actually be benefiting from the reform surge, because you've got Labour and the Conservatives, where they're losing votes to them. They'll end up tacking perhaps more towards reform on policy terms. And then that just leaves the Lib Dems to, I guess, mop up the anti-reform vote.
Well, Lib Dems are really mopping up the discontent with Labour and the Tories in different areas from reform. So essentially, yes, they gained 60 parliamentary seats from the Tories at the last election, and many of these seats are having council elections today. So they're in the parts of England like Oxfordshire, Gloucestershire, places where the Lib Dems really capitalise on discontent with the Conservatives, and areas where Brexit wasn't as popular as it was in some areas, where anti-immigration policies weren't as popular. They really cleaned up there. And what we're seeing is the general election trends again happening in those areas, with the Lib Dems likely to win big gains. They didn't do well in 2021. They were in the doldrums in 2021 when these seats were last fought. Now they've got over 70 MPs and they feel they're going to, they've always been strong in local government. Unlike reform, they have always been strong in targeting the areas where their support is. And I think it's going to be a very good night for Ed Davey.
Is it just Conservatives that they're going after, or are they taking votes from Labour as well?
They're largely taking votes from the Conservatives because these are areas where the Conservatives are strong, and it's the same as the general election trend. Those areas where the Lib Dems and Conservatives fight for the seat. Largely, Labour voters know to vote tactically if they don't want the Conservatives to come in. So I think we're going to see mostly the Lib Dems doing well at the expense of the Conservatives. Reform also doing well at the expense of Conservatives. Everyone is eating the Conservatives' lunch here, and I think that's going to be a real problem.